Hey guys, good evening. So, tonight is Saturday night, August 25th, my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, sweet pea. I want to kind of give you an update before wrap it up for the night and see where the night heads. A few things. Thank you to Tarina and the folks back at Crazy Hats in Springfield, Missouri. Definitely be part of this journey and part of the book. Um, Today, Tarina, thank you for sharing some of the things you shared. Remarkable woman. What do you say to somebody that survives 10 heart attacks in your lifetime and has undergone and gone through some other things that I appreciate her sharing with me, and I'll certainly be thinking about you tomorrow. My heart goes out to you. Um, I want to tell you a little bit about today, tonight, and the family I met there, and my plans for tomorrow, and some exciting plans for tomorrow, and also about something that was pretty exciting that happened last night. So, without further ado, let me kind of catch you up to where I am right now. I am in Joplin, Missouri, and let's start with talking about Joplin for a minute. So, a couple of things. I think that I'm guilty of this. I don't know if any others are, but I certainly am. For some reason on the East Coast, news that affects me on the East Coast seems to stick in my mind a lot further than things that happen. Not because I care any less, but they just seem to for some reason. Maybe because a lot of those areas I've lived or traveled to or been to, I've never been out this way. Anyway, on that note, my understanding of the Joplin tragedy, the tornado that came through here um, 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, was that it decimated the whole city of Joplin. That's not the case. Joplin is a relatively large town, city, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't make the tragedy anything less. Also, I found out that the numbers I was given, I didn't research it. This is just going for people telling me, but 162 people lost their lives, and that is beyond my comprehension. I don't have any recollection of the number being that high. That's phenomenally high when you think about it from a natural disaster, not an act of terrorism, but a natural disaster. That's a lot of people. So, as fate would have it, when I was back in Rolla, I met a woman who was introduced to me while I was there. It wasn't anybody that knew about my journey ahead of time. Somebody knew I was out there, and told her kind of what I was hoping and things like that, and about getting out here to Joplin and spending a couple of days and meeting these people. And she had a gentleman reach out to me, and I'm actually in his home right now. Josh and Bethany, an amazing young family. There's plenty to talk about with them, and I'll do so in the morning and talk about them a little bit more in depth. They have two beautiful little girls, full of personality, really cool babysitting themselves though, playing, just lighting my heart on fire, which has been a heavy day for me with my daughter's birthday and me not being there for the first time is tough. Just a great family. They have a dog, a breed I never heard of, a McNabb. Most athletic dog I've ever seen. Is kind of like a very short-haired Australian Shepherd, maybe be the best way to describe it, but just full of energy. And anyway, these people offered me when I got into Joplin to reach out to them and spend some time with them and go to church with them tomorrow. And when I got into town, Josh came and got me and drove me around Joplin and showed me some areas that to drive around now would almost seem unfathomable if and I just had a flashback to one of my kids' movies, the guy with the big blue head. Oh, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, Will Ferrell does the voice. But anyway, some of the areas where he was telling me, you know, that Walmart wasn't there, that Home Depot wasn't there. He took me to his first home with Bethany. The kids weren't there yet. And just no home there. Property, 2 trees that was left standing with no leaves on them. His neighbor ended up buying his property and extended their fence out. But you can see for miles. All these new homes with new roofs. I mean, new homes when I say that, 7, 8 years old. Um, but um, I've got some pictures I want to post. In fact, you'll probably see them. And you want to schedule a post after so you see the video here. Anyway, wonderful family. Can't wait to get know more about them. But so the first part of today is in Joplin. I've got a place to stay for today. I've actually got a place to stay for tomorrow. And Monday I'll be having breakfast with Josh again and heading on out into a part of Kansas, a small part of Kansas, and into Oklahoma. So that's a little bit of an update for that. Not just to talk about these amazing folks, but so now last night I got a Facebook message from somebody. I grew up in Harrisburg, lives in Kentucky. I said, Jim, heard what you're doing, think it's amazing. We're documentary filmmakers, my partner and I, and wanted to see if at some point on your journey we can catch up with you, talk with you, film you, walk with you, whatever. So I said, well, look, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. I gave him my number, and so we spoke this morning, and they're going to be out in Oklahoma City around September 16th, I think, to the 19th or something like that. I should probably be well past that by then, although so much is unknown with the gaps in these towns as I get out here. So, but that's pretty exciting that somebody wants to come, and I think they agreed to say, look, the best thing would probably just do like a 1 or 2 minute quick little indie thing that we could both put on our website and see where it goes from there. And we shared some ideas I've had, I've shared with others, and they've shared some ideas with me that I'll tell you more about, later on. My name's James Smith. I mean, you know what, I'm not going to say it. Anyway, they're thinking about doing something not with me, but with my name, and so nobody else can steal their idea. I shouldn't say anything. That was exciting, and then even more excitement. So today, as I was walking, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize, and I answered the phone call, and it was a reporter from Fox News, not in Joplin. She's in a town called Pittsburgh, Kansas, right across the border, but I guess it covers the Joplin area as well as other areas. And she has to do a story on me, so we agreed to meet tomorrow at noontime. And so I'll get you the information, KO something. I'll put it on the site, so maybe you guys can. I think it's going to be on the 9 o'clock news, she said. I don't know where the story is going to go with it, but that's certainly exciting to talk about sharing the message of pointing a thumb. As you know, back in Springfield, I was a little bummed out when I just wasn't able to get on the air with the radio stations that I had talked to, even though they seemed interested. So that's exciting, right? Because I think all you guys want to hear me able to spread the point to thumb message at this point in time. So I think you're all supportive of that. So that's really, really exciting. Truth of the matter is I'm not feeling that well right now, and I'm over by Southwest Missouri State. Southwest Missouri? No, that's Missouri State now. I'm getting the university wrong. Anyway, the family is over at the university. They're doing kind of like, I would say, a pep rally. The band's coming out, the cheerleaders, some of the teams, and I wasn't feeling all that well, so I stayed behind. And like I said, I got a place for tonight, so we covered Dorena, I covered Joplin, I covered briefly the wonderful family I'm with, got a place, covered Fox News. And just so you guys know how Fox News came to be, I know Steve and Scott often get ahead of me and blast some things out there to media. I know Jamie yesterday had gotten out and Facebooked somebody at Fox News, and they responded back almost instantly and said, well, I'll be off this weekend, but I'll pass it along to somebody. Hopefully they reach out to you. So somewhere along the line, somebody connected with these folks, and that's how we're going to spread the word. So if you guys are out there and you're asking how you can help me, the 2 ways is to always kind of go maybe from Jerry Smith, get my, you could always order, he'll send you the link, get some of my business cards and just pass them out to folks and ask them to follow and share. I think it's a great way you can help. The other way is, the more the merrier, that reach out and know or have the willingness to reach out to radio stations, newspapers, television stations. And again, every small town has its own newspaper. It may not be a daily, it may only be a weekly, but it's hard for me on the road to be able not only research that information, but then reach out and try to get a hold of them. So I spoke to the Springfield paper myself yesterday. They said they would call me back in the afternoon and try to set something up, but I never heard back from them. Um, so if we could do that, so thank you to Jamie, Steve, and Scott for doing what you guys do, and for everybody else that's always reached out. I know Lisa does as well, and others. So thank you guys for that. Um, I wanted to say something else, and I can't think what it is. Anyway, I know I seem a little bit placid, not feeling real well. I'm sorry about that, guys. But the other thing I want to talk about was talking about the family's house I was in. I'm going to share pictures with you of the destruction that was their house. I didn't mean to minimize that the whole town of Joplin didn't get decimated. That was just my perception. But a very large portion, the high school, got decimated and rebuilt. And I asked a bunch of folks, not just Josh, and while I was at this market, and people were saying, I said, when did normalcy return? And more than one said that the final pitch was when the high school was finally finished and rebuilt. I asked folks, how did the response come? Was it community driven? Was it federal aid driven? Was it volunteer organization driven? And they said all of the above, but predominantly the community almost immediately stepped up. Because imagine you live in this town of 50,000 people and a 1 mile stretch through an area just decimated. But your home is a half a mile away. Nothing. How do you react to that? How do you help out? Almost everybody knows somebody who was, either hurt, lost, or... So the community rallied so quickly. In fact, story with Josh, pretty interesting story, was he was actually at a baseball game up in Kansas City. He's a big Royal fan with his wife. I don't know if it was his parents or her parents. And they were driving home. So they didn't know anything about the tornado. And he started getting his text blown up saying, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And yeah, I'm fine. Didn't think anything about it. And then finally a buddy has said, hey man, I'm going to go walk through your neighborhood and let you know if your house is still there. Now Josh's like, wait a minute, what? And then finally his buddy said, look man, I can't even recognize your neighborhood right now. And I got pictures of his home, and a lot of the homes were brick, so the outside stayed standing, but the roof's gone, beams on their cars, just total devastation. And I think it's pretty special when a community responds to its own community. Josh worked at the college, and college kids were graduating that day before. So if you weren't graduating, most of the kids were gone. People just started lining up at the college, dropping off goods. He said, we got such an overabundance initially that we couldn't even handle the surplus that was coming in to be able to give it to these folks. Another interesting fact about that is that the high school was graduating. College did it Saturday, high school was graduating on Sunday. And some of the children, kids, young people that lost their lives were driving home from the high school. They got in their car after whatever their day was, or rehearsal, and was heading back home when this thing hit. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing thing comes sitting in a house, and within a few minutes the whole thing can be gone, and people, 162 people. I'm kind of ashamed to acknowledge that I didn't really fully understand that amount and that number. Whether it's my own ignorance, the fact that, I didn't really relate to the central part of our country when I'm an East Coast guy. I don't know what it is, but it's a fact, and I'm ashamed by that. But so I'm going to post some pictures. I'll schedule them later so they come after this video. Church tomorrow with Josh and Bethany and the girls, and then on to a park. We're going to meet the Fox News team and hopefully do something with them. And then I'll be heading back to a quiet time. I actually have a fantasy football draft with Scott Redding, who I just met through this journey. Congratulations to the PTT football teams that won yesterday. And don't worry, Triton, you guys will rebound. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. This will be my afternoon/night edition tonight. And I'll talk to you all soon. Oh, my Phillies blew another one today. I mean, they are just in a free fall. 6-3 lead blown in the 7th and 8th inning. So my fighting Phils are hurting right now, but we're going to get through it. All right, guys, I love you all. Have a great day.